This is Fuck the With Man Jackson. You're watching WGS-TV.
Yeah!
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer. Don't leave only Butcher. This is going to be the Monday Night Raw review for the week of November 24th, 2014. The follow-up to the Survivor Series. And like we said on the Survivor Series review, one of the most talked about moments right now in WWE was the appearance of Sting. Now, would we see Sting on Monday Night Raw? Would we see an explanation for Sting's presence on a Monday Night Raw? And unfortunately, we would not. We would not. And I think a lot of fans, in my opinion, were disappointed. The fact that we did not see Sting on a Monday Night Raw, and everybody was really like looking forward to it. Like, oh, we saw Sting on Survivor Series, and he finally going to make his Monday Night Raw debut. Did not happen. Did not go that route, and a lot of fans in my mind were disappointed. But with the opening of the show, the return of Daniel Bryan, I gotta say, I still say it was a good surprise to see him back. And you know, he looks to be in good spirits. He looks like he's getting to be in better health and in better shape for someone in his condition. You know, going through next surgery after next surgery to get himself repaired. And you know, even you said it at one point, Rick, we may never see Daniel Bryan inside the ring again.
Yeah, you know what, and it's a possibility. Unfortunately, a lot of fans have to look at that possibility. It's something none of us want to come to terms with. But yeah, it sucks. But you know.
Yeah, but we do find out Daniel Bryan has power for the night, so he makes several key decisions to affect Monday Night Raw. First off, Kane is no longer director of operations. He is concessions Kane. So basically, he was handing out hamburger, hot dogs, popcorn, drinks, stuff like that. Then
Can I say something real quick? You know, you look at a guy like Kane, who was first when he debuted. He was the devil's favorite demon, and now he's concessions Kane. What the fuck is the WWE doing with this guy? Honestly, you want to laugh, but you don't know if you want to laugh or you want to cry.
No, yeah, you do have a point there. He also puts Luke Harper in an Intercontinental title match against Dean Ambrose. Gives Rusev, the United States champion, an ultimatum. Either he and Lana take the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America and the flag, or he will have to defend the United States Championship in a battle royal. Then he would also.
Which happened? What was up with that?
Well, they did do the segment. They did do the segment where they try the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll talk about that when we get to it. He also puts Mark Henry in a match against Ryback, and then he also put John Cena and Dolph Ziggler as a tag team against the possibility of Seth Rollins having his partners either being Mark Henry and I think he said Big Show. I think, and he also said Mark Henry and Kane, or the Seth Rollins security team of JV Noble and Joey Mercury. And WWE really has their way of influencing the fans' votes for that, but it's kind of obvious which way they went. But Ryback and Mark Henry, really quickly, because it was a really quick match, because Ryback got the jump on Henry before the matchup even got underway. Ryback would then hit a spine buster and then the Meathook clothesline. Yeah, I wonder if there's a reason why they didn't go for the shell shock finish. You know, if you guys remember the Tensai incident, you know, maybe Ryback wasn't comfortable, you know, trying to pick up Mark Henry on his shoulders. You know, you never know. But it was Ryback with Meathook clothesline to pick up the victory. I will say this though, Nick Fourquier of Sports Entertainment Tonight, the Intercontinental Championship matchup with Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose, that was a really well worked match.
You know, it was
Nick.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, actually, to kind of talk about the opening match with Ryback and Mark Henry, as you said a little earlier on, Billy, I think Mark Henry kind of pissed somebody off because he only lasted a couple seconds in the Survivor Series match, and then he goes out and jobs to Ryback on the following night on Raw. So, we'll see kind of what's going on with Mark Henry, but I agree with you in that the Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper Intercontinental match was very exciting, and I thought the finish was somewhat predictable. You kind of knew Bray Wyatt was going to come out at some point, being that they had already announced the table, ladders, and chairs match for the next pay-per-view. So, but for me, it was kind of somewhat of a lackluster Raw, and we'll kind of talk a little more about that as we get through the card.
The Bay Area MVP known as Will is here. Will, did you expect Luke Harper to work a really good matchup with Dean Ambrose? Because I think with the looming, predictability factor of having Bray Wyatt come in and attack Dean Ambrose, which did happen, was still there. But beyond that, Will, I still think it was a really good match.
And I'm going to
go and freeze is what he's done. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. We do apologize. Both Will Cartman are having technical issues. Lance Moss apparently isn't feeling well enough for the review, so we hope that he's feeling much better very, very quickly. But yeah, Bray Wyatt would attack Dean Ambrose and kind of burying him in chairs the same way, in the same manner that Dean Ambrose did to Bray Wyatt on Survivor Series. But following next up, we would get the debut of WWE's newest sensation and Rick's favorite new wrestler. It's Stone Cold Creamery with Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh my God! You know what? I actually thought that for a second that Rey Mysterio had come back.
Yeah, from 50 years in the future.
I'm sorry. It's just I ask again, why does WWE have these stupid little promotional general managers or guest hosts or whatever the fuck they choose to call them? It makes no sense to me, but...
to sell a DVD of him and Santino's movie, the Jingle All the Way too.
Yeah, I mean, I know why they do it, but for me, it's like, okay, I just chose to go take a nice big dump in the toilet, and that was more entertaining.
Speaking of that...
It sounds like Vince McMahon's humor, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of that, Golden Stardust were making their way out for their match. We actually hear Larry the Cable Guy on the microphone get spooked and even tells the Stardust, "Who? I just pooped my pants." That's the kind of, that's the brand of humor that Larry the Cable Guy brings, and for some reason it makes me laugh every time. I don't know why. The Bay Area MVP known as Will and Cartman are both having technical issues. Hopefully we can get them back before the end of the review. But the Tag Team Championship on the line next, The Miz and Damien Mizdow defending against the former champions Golden Stardust. At one point it looked like The Miz had legitimately hurt himself. He was holding his head and his face, and when we basically had Mizdow about 90% of the match working 90% of the match is what I meant to say. And then Miz, picked this opportunity. Apparently, he was just playing possum. Tags himself in, hits the skull crushing finale on Stardust, and he and Mizdow retained the championships. But one thing I loved about that, Rick, is Miz has the championships, Mizdow's the stunt double, and Mizdow has his own stunt tag team championship belt.
A stunt, that's a nice ring for it. I'd call them more toy ones. I don't even think those are duplicates. Those are like ones that little kids would have that you could get at Martell. I don't know. Mattel has, you get a Kmart. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But the match goes, I remember actually looking down for a second. I actually thought that Miz was hurt. I'm like, oh, is that Miz hurt? And then you and I were talking about this. And said, no, hold on. They're paying too much attention. And it took after maybe 5 minutes when they went back and forth, back. I'm like, oh, no, that's kayfabe. He's not hurt. This is a storyline. And then bang. So,
yeah, because 99% of the time, whenever there's a legit injury in WWE, they never put the person on camera. Never.
Exactly.
Right. And he
So,
sat there by ringside for like about 10 minutes, so why wouldn't they just bring him to the back if he really was hurt?
Yeah, and they certainly would not, like I said, would not keep the camera on him, and they kept on flashing the camera to him, saying, "Oh yeah, look, he's hurt. Look, he's hurt." And they kept on mentioning that he's hurt. That was like part of the story, and I'm like, "Oh, come on, don't make it so blatantly fucking obvious. Have we become that stupid?" It's like, oh.
yeah.
Well, I think the writers really, and Miz and Sandow have all done a great job with this angle that they've been doing, and the crowd is loving it. As far as how they kind of distinguish between the Miz and Sandow whenever they, celebrate, and then the crowd
The
cheers.
boo and yay.
And I think they've done a really good job with this, and that's why that the Miz's are the tag team champions right now. They kind of stole the thunder from Golden Stardust.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I absolutely agree that both Miz and Mizdow have absolutely been playing this well as far as the heel and the face, because you very rarely see a heel and a face tag team play off so well in the way that in the mannerism that you talked about. Yeah, so they're absolutely working, and see how long as well. I could actually see this go as far as to, with the tag team splits up, and maybe even go as far as to WrestleMania.
It's coming, and I think the fact is that everybody thinks that Sandow does Miz better than the Miz actually does Miz.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, following that, we had Lana and Rusev at first refusing to take the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Daniel Bryan would appear on the Titantron and remind him that if he did not take the Pledge of Allegiance, he would have to defend the United States Championship in a battle royal. Now, we were all to assume that was going to happen that night. It never does happen, to be honest. The appearance of Sergeant Slaughter, I thought it was, good to kind of help, the American thing and whatnot, and have Jack Swagger come in to make the save. But, again, we were all to assume that the battle royal was going to happen that evening. But to be honest, looking back at what the promo, they never really specified a time and a place where Rusev would have to defend. At TLC?
Yeah, why not?
Possibly. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen on SmackDown. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. They could possibly announce that on a main event tonight on the WWE Network. I'm not advertising it, but just saying I watch it. Even though I still haven't done reviews for it, I still watch it, so I do apologize for that one as well. I know you guys want to. But anyway, that's pretty much what happens. Following up a rematch from Survivor Series kickoff, Fandango with Rosa Mendez taking on Justin Gabriel. We kind of made our opinions known about the, quote, reinventing of the Fandango gimmick on the Survivor Series review. Even the Stunning Man Ashley was on Skype with us, Rick, last night, and he even pointed out the same thing that we said on the Survivor Series review, is the fact that we the fans, we're kind of accustomed to doing the fandangoing, with this original dance music, and his new music and his new gimmick right now, it really doesn't fit.
Not really that new and improved as they claim it to be, Billy?
Yeah, in a sense. Now, Rosa Mendez can dance. We know that, and she's really good in eye candy, and I think this is a good way to keep her out of the ring in WWE, because she's more better as a manager valet type of a character than actually being inside of the ring. She's great eye candy. She's great to be outside of the ring, supporting someone instead of being in there just kind of. I'm not even going to say the word because I'm in my parents' house. I don't want them to get mad at me, but you kind of get the drift of where I'm going with that. But anyway, it's just almost a carbon copy of the Survivor Series kickoff. Fandango with the guillotine leg drop off the top to get the win on Justin Gabriel. And I still say to this day, Justin Gabriel probably one of the most underutilized and underrated talents in WWE right now. I mean, the dude is chock-loaded with talent, and WWE will not give him the time of day for some reason, and I don't know why. Speaking of days, a new day is coming. We saw them separately in their own vignettes. Xavier Woods, Big E, and Kofi Kingston, and finally we see one with all three of them together. And for the life of me, Rick, What the hell was Big E doing?
I still don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what this whole gimmick is supposed to be, and I really don't know. And I honestly, I don't know. I don't even know what this whole gimmick's going to be, and it's really going to scare me when I see it happening and when they debut. I still say it's going to be another. Eventually, it's going to be nice when it starts off, but I still see them being another 3-man band.
Yeah, and more than likely. But I kind of understand why WWE dropped them out of sight at first. Because they just randomly put them together without any type of a gimmick to go with them. And it only makes sense that they would go that route. It made sense to. I think they kind of had the formula backwards. They put them together, then they were going to debut a gimmick. I think that if they would have reversed it and started doing the vignettes first, then put them together, it would have made much more sense. But WWE, again, somebody in WWE Creative smokes crack. I don't know. I think maybe somebody in WWE Creative got to your stash, Rick. I don't know what to tell you, but it's kind of what the way some of their storylines pan out. And speaking of the way storylines panning out, Big Show going out there to explain his actions from Survivor Series. At first, he's trying to put over that, I made a mistake. I saw my partners weren't doing so well. I was fighting for my job. I didn't want to lose my job. I made a business decision. Asking fans not to hate him for it. Fans still boo him for it. And then that's when we see more of the heel turn. Big Show now heel, being the bully again. I think he's probably more suited to being a heel character in WWE. It all depends on his timing. When he was doing all the crazy gimmicks and stuff during the Attitude Era, when he was the showster, Shonan the Barbarian, that kind of funny stuff. At that time it fits, but they needed to move his character along, move the gimmick along, and that's pretty much what we saw. Now, Big Show was challenging anyone to come out and kind of refute what he was saying about Survivor Series, somebody from Team Cena. And where are they getting, who are they going to bring out? Are they going to bring out Mark Henry? Are they going to bring out Dolph Ziggler? And Nick, I think the last person we expected to see was the last person that we never thought we would see on Team Cena, and that was Eric Rowan.
Surely, and I think this is going to be a good well to help build up Rowan's character a little bit, give him a feud. With Big Show, this is his 10,000th turn. I don't think they turn anybody more than they do the Big Show. It seems like he gets 2 of them a year, really. But ultimately, I thought it was just kind of, they were reaching for something to explain the Big Show turn at Survivor Series. Especially, and I didn't necessarily understand the fact of, if Big Show was going to turn and he was helping out the Authority, why did he knock out Mark Henry in the beginning of the match as well? Real quick, as far as New Day, I think that they are kind of set to be like some Baptist preachers or something like that, which I think, in my opinion, that the WWE already has enough preachers. If you look at Bray Wyatt, he's kind of got the preacher gimmick. A couple people. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do as far as that, and I'll give it back to you, Billy.
I really don't know if wrestling and religion should mix at all, in my personal opinion. But anyway, after that, and one thing I will say this: after Eric Rowan kind of took it to Big Show saying, "I hate bullies," and just went after Big Show, something happened that I never thought I would hear from the crowd, and that was the crowd actually chanting for Eric Rowan, and that was something I never thought I would hear. But
that is a catchphrase.
Yeah, I hate bullies, and I gotta say, if you start to get the fans behind you, especially at the live events, live there, and you start chanting for you, then you're doing something right, in my opinion, because that's really a sign that you're getting over with the crowd. Oh yeah, but anyway, following that, again, AJ Lee, Brie Bella. Now, from what I saw, Brie rolls up AJ, gets the win, gets on the microphone, AJ, says you want to cheat to win. First off, I would assume that she's talking about Survivor Series because I really didn't see any cheating last night on Monday Night Raw in the match in itself. But then in the style of her significant other, that's how I'm going to word it, with being as kind as I am, because I literally have...
We can just call him Phil.
Well, I'm not even going to address him by his name. I don't want to even dignify him by his real name either, because, when he did what he did earlier in the year...
Pipe bomb.
Yeah, exactly. It was her own version of a pipe bomb, telling Brie, you know what, talent is not sexually transmitted. And Rick, I was just sitting there with my jaw open, I was like, what?
For her, I'm not too shocked because, AJ has done some kind of shocking things, and she, although I would not be surprised that it was him who kind of said, gave her that little line to send. They both do, they are two of a kind. So they do fit very, evenly. So they are, but to get on back to saying how they didn't cheat on Raw, I would definitely see. It did take two of them to beat AJ. And I'm thinking that's a setup for maybe a handicap match at TLC, maybe, because the report says that AJ is booked for TLC. For what match? Maybe a 2-on-3, a handicap. So. Which
there were some rumors going around that AJ was maybe going to take some time off. So, have y'all heard anything about that?
The rumor is that, she's already made it clear that she is not going to be, she's not leaving. That rumor is bullshit. I'm guessing with the holidays coming and the road to WrestleMania, she might be taking maybe a holiday leave, or she's just, maybe a vacation. So, for those who think she's quitting the WWE, she's not leaving, people.
She loves it too much.
Exactly.
And she's still young.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, again, take those rumors with a grain of salt, or even less with that, because even AJ Lee said it herself. But following that, now, I think the only thing that I liked about Adam Rose and the Bunny versus Tyson Kidd and Natalya is the way that Santino, Marella, and Larry the Cable Guy were kind of selling it on commentary. The dancing, you kind of made me want to hit myself in the head. Seeing Larry the Cable Guy and the Bunny dance, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And once again, we would see more indication of the split up of Adam Rose and the Bunny, with Adam Rose turning heel, in my opinion. I think that's the way they need to go with it. All I'm going to say is, it's just like, I don't know what WWE is doing with this, but I think it probably needs to end soon.
Yeah, it's slow and painful, and it's too drawn out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, Billy, I can't even comment on this one because I flipped to the Saints game during this segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though the Saints were losing at that time, it was still more entertaining to watch what they did with that. And finally, the main event, and like we said earlier, the fans would pick Mercury and Noble to be the partners for Seth Rollins, taking on Cena and Dolph Ziggler. Good main event. Ziggler would hit the zigzag on Noble. Cena hits the AA on Joey Mercury, and they would pick up the win. Seth Rollins thought, we'd make a hasty retreat. Discretion's the better part of valor. And Daniel Bryan would come up from behind and looked to be in pretty good shape, throwing Rollins back into the ring to take his butt whooping from both Ziggler and Cena. And then the sound that we hated for the good part of 2012, the anonymous Raw general manager, Michael Cole getting up, saying, may I have your attention, please? I have received an email from the anonymous Raw general manager. And then he starts reading and saying he was going to be back for Cyber Monday. And something the Studley Man actually said on Skype, Rick, kind of rings true a little bit. If you think about the significance of what Cyber Monday has meant to the people in the United States, because that's always been the big shopping day for online deals. So it kind of makes sense that they would kind of use him on a Monday and call it Cyber Monday on Monday Night Raw.
This is true, but another thing that I think that the Studley man did not take into fact, he also said that order would be restored. I think that what they're going to say is I think they're restoring order with the anonymous Raw general manager. Him and I were at odds with this. He thinks this is just going to be just for 1 week, and that we're going to see other GMs come in. We're going to see people like other people come in and take in. This is just for 1 week. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to stay for maybe a few weeks. I could be wrong. I have been wrong in the past, but that's just my call.
Well, I kind of agree with you, Rick, in that. I think they are kind of going to build it to where it's just things are going to get so bad and the wrestlers are just going to hate it so much that Cena's going to have to pull his card to bring the Authority back. That's why they made such a big deal about that. And I think ultimately John Cena will bring the Authority back, whether it be as a heel or the babyface that he is. But I think things are about to get really bad, per se, and there will be a struggle for power, and that's going to be part of the WrestleMania storyline going in, as WrestleMania storylines tend to start building after Survivor Series and Royal Rumble especially.
Yeah, because if you remember another segment that happened that we didn't really talk about was as the Authority left, they got into Vince's limousine, and he said, "You know what, guys?" He goes, "I'm not mad, but I'm disappointed." He goes, "But we have to fix this. We have to fix this." And so
their only out is getting Cena on board.
Yeah. And at the same time, the same night that happens, what comes back is the anonymous Raw GM. So it's I would, like I said, I'm calling it. That's my call.
On that note, guys and gals, it is now time to go to the Facebook fan reviews. Whenever I cover a show on the Facebook page at facebook.com/WGS-TV, I always give you guys out there the chance to voice your opinions on each show that I cover. And unlike Survivor Series, we only have one person that's in our comments, but it's a good friend of ours. It's Casey Cunningham. Casey sent in his review this week, and Casey says about Monday Night Raw, after rewatching it, I give it an 8. Still really mad Sting didn't make some kind of an entrance, same for Randy Orton. Big Show turning heel really helps since Eric Rowan is pretty big guy himself. Lesnar as champion has made the Money in the Bank briefcase pretty much worthless. Natty is getting hotter by the week. I can't disagree with that. My thoughts is that they should have her drop Tyson Kidd, turn anti-hero, and beat down every diva till she gets the title back. More excited about the Raw after next week just to see who the GM for the night will be. Interesting thoughts there by Casey, but it's now time to go into our overall scores and our picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week. I gotta say, I kind of agree with Casey Cunningham to a point. There was an air of disappointment about Monday Night Raw this week. Having one of the most talked about moments, most anticipated moments of all time, and the longest time for WWE, having Sting debut on Survivor Series and have nothing. Don't have him appear to follow up the next night on Monday Night Raw. Not have him go out there to address the crowd live. I think, in my opinion, it was a mistake by WWE, because then you've taken the big high that everyone was on seeing Sting inside of a WWE arena and then just drop the ball and have no appearance by him on Monday Night Raw. I don't understand WWE's thinking behind that, because a lot of fans, especially in the YWC, were really anticipating an appearance of Sting on Monday Night Raw. Sting finally makes his Monday Night Raw debut, and it didn't happen. It just didn't happen,
and water, huh?
Yeah, and the return of Daniel Bryan, I'm going to say, it was good to see, like I said earlier, it was good to see Daniel Bryan back. He looks to be in good spirits, looks to be getting in better shape, and one could only hope that maybe at some point we can see him actually return to the ring. But if he can't return to the ring, maybe in some outside of the ring capacity, because he does have the ability to cut some really good promos. You know, we've seen that in the past. Now for
Even though,
best,
really, I kind of thought that.
go
Excuse
ahead.
me. I kind of just thought that the opening segment with Daniel Bryan kind of just dragged on and dragged on. I mean, like really, the opening segment lasted about 30 minutes of the show. You know, so I thought they could have condensed it a little more. You know, Daniel Bryan, as lovable as he is, I think he, could, stand a little more charisma. You know, I mean, I think his in-ring work kind of does his talking for him a lot of times. One last thing about the main event is I thought it wasn't really that believable that Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble were like kind of whooping down on Cena. So it's like really Cena's gonna get his butt whooped by J&J Security. And that was kind of a little tough for me to believe. But
I think
overall,
people need to remember that J&J Security, Joey Mercury, a former tag team champion in his own right, and Jamie Noble, a former cruiserweight champion.
Sure, and of course, but just the way they're built up as the crowd, they're kind of like the wimpy security team. So it was just kind of odd seeing them kind of take it to Cena like that.
My overall score on Monday Night Raw this week is, I would have given it a 3.75 like I did Survivor Series, but I got to take it down to 3.25. Just the air of disappointment for Sting not appearing on Monday Night Raw. Because, again, I think one of the things that really glued people into watching Monday Night Raw last night was the appearance of Sting at Survivor Series, and they wanted to see, what was going to happen next. What was Sting going to do next in WWE? Was he going to do something on Monday Night Raw? They even worded it that way on the Raw preview on WWE.com. They even put Sting's face on the Raw preview, and he doesn't even appear on Monday Night Raw.
Barely even mentioned.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going to take it down to a 3.25 out of 5. My best match of the night, I'm definitely going to look to Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. Because, in my opinion, that was a really well-worked match. I can't say anything bad about it. I was really, I said it for a long time when Harper was part of the Wyatt family, that he was kind of the shining star of the gimmick. I mean, the way that, this guy is huge, and the way that he can move just reminds me so much of former ECW champion Mike Awesome. Just having that ability, at his size, and that agility is just really amazing. And Luke Harper is definitely a diamond in the rough, in my opinion. But despite the predictability factor at the end with Bray Wyatt coming in to attack Dean Ambrose, I still say it was best match of the night. Worst match, worst segment. First off, like I said, Fandango. The reinventing of the gimmick. Didn't think it was necessary. Maybe they could have just had him come out with another dance partner. I don't, but they did that, and that's going to be tied with the appearance of Rick's favorite new wrestler, Stone Cold Creamery. But anyway, speaking of Rick,
that was your cousin.
Anyway, let's go to Rick now and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week. Rick?
Well, I have to give you the same score. If it's lucky, a 3.25, and I'll give that. And it was a very lackluster Raw. And I'm not even going to blame the fact that Sting's not going to show up. I mean, yeah, they did advertise it, and I put it as a question mark. Don't get me wrong, we're all Sting marks here. The fact that he didn't show up. But let's be realistic. Who is he really going to be there for? He's going to be there for one man and one man only, Triple H, and he left early. Once he left early, I'm like, okay. I kind of knew that him showing up was going to be about, maybe 40%. And as the night went on, it went less and less and less. So, Sting is probably going to show up as it's getting a little bit closer to WrestleMania because, they're going to have that hype. And then they're going to keep that feud going very close. And they're going to want, Triple H, when he comes back, mostly as a wrestler. He's going to be roles a wrestler, and that's when that feud's going to get really, fired up. I know a lot of fans want to see it, but they're just going to have to wait just a little bit longer. We know that Sting's here. It's just going to be a little bit of time. The best match of the night, I guess I got to give it to the main event. Worst match of the night, Yeah, the Fandango match. You know, Fandango did such a great job at Survivor Series. I really had a lot of hope for him, and then I saw his match at Raw, and it looked like he just dropped. I'm like, wow. It seems like he's paying, again, attention to his character rather than his in-ring ability, and that is a mistake. Big mistake for Fandango.
Definitely. And finally, guys, we're going to go to Nick Fourquier of Sports Entertainment Tonight and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week. Nick?
Well, I'm kind of in agreement with you guys. The Raw was nothing special for me. I usually look forward to Raws after pay-per-views because typically the writers got their stuff together and they're building towards something new. But I think we did not get that. I think the reason a lot of us are disappointed, the fact that Sting did not show up, obviously, is because we wanted an explanation on what his beef is with Triple H, what his beef is with the Authority. Why did you show up? And I think a lot of us were looking for that, but we did not get it. We might get it somewhere down the road, as you mentioned, a little closer to WrestleMania. But for me, overall, I'd say probably it was about a 3. It was, for me, probably one of the worst Raws I've seen in about a month or so. I thought the writing has got improved here lately, but last night was not reflective of that. Ultimately, though, best match of the night, I would have to say probably agree with you in Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. Worst for me, probably Adam Rose and the Bunny against whoever they were.
Creamery?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was okay for me, but overall, just the match,
Billy, please stop asking us to tell you about your Stone Cold Creamery, please.
Hey, I make good ice cream over there. Anyway, guys and gals, what we want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? Definitely want to know what you guys have to say, especially you, Ecstasy69. We definitely want to hear what you have to say about Monday Night Raw. So put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Where can fans check you out on HWR?
Of course, you can always check me out on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And anytime you want to check out our videos, head on over to youtube.com. We are also at dailymotion.com. And now, catch a ride at soundcloud.com. Just look us up at HWR Show.
Nick Fourquier is a part of Sports Entertainment Tonight on AOC. Nick, want to tell everyone a little bit more about your show?
Well, it is me and my good friend Mark Trahan, and we kind of do weekly updates on what's going on in the WWE world, the NXT world. Every now and again, we might mention some news about TNA, and we kind of do what we did here today: a little Raw review, a little pay-per-view review, a little pay-per-view build-up, predictions, whatnot. Every now and again, we have wrestlers from the company you work with, Mid-South Extreme, come in, and we've had you even call in a couple times, Billy. So it is just kind of a weekly, sports entertainment talk show. And we are available on AOC Wednesday night at 5 o'clock, and also on YouTube. Just go to the AOC channel, look under videos, and you'll find us there.
Fans, don't forget to follow me on the Facebook page, facebook.com/WGS-TV, and don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network if you haven't already. Also, very quickly, remember, Mid-South Extreme presents 100% Chance of Pain. If you guys want to find out more information, check out facebook.com/Mid-South Extreme to find out more information about when and where you guys can check out Mid-South Extreme presents 100% Chance of Pain. Yours truly, Nick Fourquier and Mark, we will be there to cover the show live, so be sure you guys check us out on there as well. So, for the hardcore host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, Rick Kent, and Nick Fourquier of Sports Entertainment Tonight, I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Don't be Billy Boudreaux saying, enough of the bunny!